progress.
Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to the August 26, 2025 Board of Health meeting. We have no public hearings this evening, so basically I would say it's more or less a working meeting. Some of the things we'll talk about is review of the meeting minutes, West Nile virus, update from Matt Tanis, the health agent, and Janine's going to be here or no?
She's not.
Okay.
I didn't invite her, but I do have some updates on what the nurses are doing.
Okay. I think probably a lot of the discussion we'll have this evening is on the regulation of the Board of Health restricting sale of tobacco products, Southwood update, Norwood Hospital update, and there seems to be some activity going on in the next few weeks there, and then schedule meeting and any other anticipated business. So with that, I would like to ask the board members if they've had a chance to look at the meeting minutes, and if they have any comments, questions, edits. We'll take those now.
Are you here for the Board of Health meeting?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Is there anything
No.
particular? Okay,
No.
great.
We're observers.
Perfect. Fantastic.
We have no agenda.
Just wanted to make sure you were in the right place.
Yep.
Oh, I should have read the preamble saying this is also a Zoom meeting, huh?
I think everybody probably got
I
that.
think we kind of got that.
Oops. Wow, I actually have 3 pages of minutes.
I know, yeah. When I read them before, there's, yeah. I just find it hard to believe that we actually talked about that much stuff.
So Zoom actually has this AI
I know,
companion now?
yeah. Yeah, so that's why, yeah.
So I actually kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So I kind of like copied and pasted. It's not perfect.
Yeah,
Start though. Good start.
Yeah, I kind of like took some, bits and pieces out of it, and I'm like, I'll try that, see how it works.
you all set?
Yes,
Okay,
it's
15 minutes.
quite extensive, and,
I know, that's why I was.
everything, but everything I expected,
Yeah.
yes.
That was AI.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, yeah. So, if we're good to go, if I can get a motion to
Yes. I motion.
accept the meeting minutes. Second from John.
Second.
Okay.
Accept them as shown, yes.
Okay. So hearing no further discussion, no edits on the meeting minutes from July 22nd. Take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're good to go. And John being clerk, eventually you have to stop in and see Betsy and you can sign the,
I did.
He signed the last ones.
okay,
So,
okay.
I'll-
I wasn't sure.
Yep, nope, you did a good job.
She made it clear what the expectations were.
My expectations are pretty low. So.
And I was told by Carol Green to follow said expectations. So,
Did she say, Betsy will tell you what to do?
yeah, she did. So,
Okay. Moving on to the next topic, the West Nile virus. Notice of West Nile virus was confirmed in mosquitoes from Norfolk. I have to admit, I don't know where they have sprayed, if Norfolk Mosquito Control has actually sprayed.
So they do spray on Mondays. I think it's somewhere between midnight. They do it from the truck.
Yeah.
And they post, not the whole town, obviously, but they do post, and I have to admit, I didn't check this Monday.
Okay.
To see what sections of town they were spraying, but they do like one section every week. And they do post that on their website. People can call, go on their website and put it, if they want additional spraying, put in a service order request.
Okay.
I did speak to, I think his name was John Lawson at the Norfolk County Mosquito
Yep.
Control District. He did call to check in, because on this, at this point, we're still at moderate risk. There are no human cases of West Nile virus in the state. I think there's one animal case so far. So they continue to monitor it, and it's really just public education, getting rid of standing water, avoiding being outside from dusk to dawn, wearing mosquito repellent, fixing screens, things like that.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I know that, I think when I sent you the email that they were in my neighborhood, they were simply
They were
sampling.
just
They were sampling, yeah, because we have.
They'll continue to sample.
Yeah, we have
And, obviously, this goes on until we have the first
frost.
hard frost.
Yeah, okay.
Betsy and the board, the report from today for this past week's sampling pool, they didn't have any new ones out of the Norfolk pool, but they did have positive samples for West Nile out of the Walpole pool.
Yeah,
That was the closest town for us.
Yeah, you're right. I did get that alert, actually a couple of times today. So, thanks, Matt. This is not uncommon.
Yeah, we've been through this before. It's been,
Yes.
well, the last couple of years I've been on.
Yeah, we
Pretty
actually
quiet.
we had the same thing happen just around, I think it was August 21st last year.
Yeah. So, okay. Okay. Anything else, anybody?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on, Matt Tanis, got an update for us?
Sure. So just on the, real quick, just a little extra piece on the AAA West Nile virus. Usually goes in 8 to 10 year cycles of the bad years. And a few years ago, I'd say it was 2020 might have been the last real bad AAA West Nile virus year. Generally, when you start to see the positive West Nile samples coming from pools in early to mid-July, that's an indicator it's going to be a rough season. So I think it's just a normal season for us, but just a little general tidbit for the board and the public. It usually goes in an 8 to 10 year cycle of, a bad year or two, and then it goes to 8 years or so of normal. But as far as on my end of the report, nothing too major to report, just two topics of discussion. One, a little over a year and a half ago, we received a complaint for a failed septic system, 50 Mirror Lake Ave. and I had issued an enforcement order. I think it was the end of February of that year, so it would have been 2024. In April, we had done perk tests, and the lot is very difficult with size constraints to fit a normal septic system in place. I believe it was John Glossa did design a system, had some variances, which did go before the board in the end of April and was approved. We do have an approved plan. As part of the enforcement order, they have 2 years to come into compliance, which would be installing the system. As of right now, they have not installed the system. They just have the design, which was a good faith effort. The system, and part of the board's request as part of the variance approvals, was that the system do be periodically, or the existing failed system periodically pumped to ensure that there was no breakout, which I personally witnessed the system being pumped a couple months ago. I was actually across the street doing another perk test, but I don't believe that it's been pumped since. I have not been able to verbally talk to the homeowner. I've tried a handful of times, phone calls with no answer, inability to leave a message. So just so the board's aware, I did issue last week a updated enforcement order that reflected the original enforcement order and what was required at the time, as well as the time constraints. You know, we're approaching the 2-year mark, and of course, as winter rolls in, it's going to be more difficult to install the system than it would be this fall, as well as to make sure that that system does get pumped and that there's no ponding or breakout that occurs that could affect the environment or the neighbors. So that did go out certified mail. I just wanted to bring to the board's attention. If at any point the system does not get installed within that 2-year mark, and certainly if, you know, they have an installer schedule and it's ready to go, you know, at 2 years and 2 weeks, that's fine. But as of right now, there's no plan in place. If it doesn't occur, the next course of action would be to file in court, and it'll be a court matter. But I just wanted to give the board an update, you know, since it did go before the board for variances, and it's a tough lot. It is, you know, relatively close to Mirror Lake, just in case things do have to move forward legally. I didn't want anyone to be surprised. So that was the first piece. My other item of discussion is in regards to body works and body works regulations. I believe it was in 2009, prior to 2009, massage parlors and massage therapists were licensed locally. The state took that over, and now the state has the authority over massage parlors. There is a certain type of business that circumvents massage regulations, and they are called body works. There are no state regulations, there are no state licenses regarding body works, and it generally, more often than not, although some places can be legitimate and, you know, do an appropriate, fair, good business, you know, it's been in the news probably for the better part of 10 years that body works establishments are, some of them are related to human trafficking. You know, inappropriate acts are performed in these types of establishments. So it's left up to the towns basically to regulate, as we would say, body art with tattoo parlors and tattoo artists. So I want to bring this up because a person had approached the Board of Health office asking about opening a body works establishment in Norfolk. Betsy, I believe, does not believe that where they were looking to go, zoning will allow for it.
Where's that?
But
C1 district?
Yeah, it's not allowed in the C1. It's actually only allowed in the B1 district.
Oh,
So where they were looking to open it was in the C1 down on Dedham Street.
okay.
So Matt and I talked, and we kind of thought that there seems to be some interest. We should probably start thinking about getting some body works regulations in place
Okay. Now, I mean, not to make more work for everybody, is this something that has to be created from, the ground floor up? Or is this something
No.
that you could take some of the older regulations and simply change some verbiage as well as add or remove certain requirements? Is that probably what we're looking at?
Exactly. So, I know, Andy, you were on the board when we had the tattoo.
Tattoo put, yep.
Tiki Tattoo had, approached us to go in. We had no body art regulations. I don't want to be caught last minute off guard, with no ability to ensure that they're conducting things in a safe and healthy manner.
Okay.
So just trying to be a little proactive here. I just had Body Works regulations passed in Rentham, as we have a similar issue going on there. So I can take those regulations, they'll have to be tailored a little bit towards Norfolk's needs, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I literally just did it. So
Okay.
if you want, I can put something together that's a little more tailored for Norfolk based off those.
Yep.
And send it to the board, and we can review it for the next meeting if you like, or October. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, if we could get that done, because I think what's going to probably end up happening is that if I'm reading the way this may go, is that if this person or these individuals are requesting to put it in the C1 district and it's not permitted by zoning, does that trigger a lawsuit, or do they start going down over here and, will they move into Bork's restaurant? I don't know. It's, who knows? But I think if we could have some regulations, and at least I'll call them guardrails for right now, but just to keep them, just sort of to keep them in line and check, and let them know that it's simply just not okay. I can do this because there's no regulation.
Well,
That's the-
especially now that we are, we're talking about developing the B1 district, which means bringing more business there. It's a definite possibility.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, we were lucky with Tiki Tattoo, Don, the owner, and he's an artist there as well. He was very easy to work with. When he came in and asked to open, I said, "Well, we don't have regulations," and he said, "Whatever you decide to put before the board, we'll make sure we come to compliance with." And I worked with him. I did let him know. I showed him the regulations. Before it went before the board. For a vote. That was a best case scenario. Who knows what this type of business may be, but definitely get something in place just in case.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
I will say it definitely involves the police, given the nature of some of the business aspects. So I'll have to talk to the police department as well and make sure they're all on the same page. I don't think they'll have any issue with it. All the police departments I've worked with are very aware and in conjunction with other departments regarding the matter. So, but over the next couple of weeks, I'll get that squared away and I'll talk to the police and I'll get it to the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Anything else? That's it? Okay.
That's all I got.
Public health and nurses update? Nothing?
Yeah, so I just
that's
actually do,
okay.
I do have a couple of things. I didn't ask Janine, I know that the girl's busy. So a couple things we have coming up, September 24th from 1:30 to 4 at the Norfolk Senior Center. We are having a flu clinic there, so I think that sign up will probably be coming out pretty soon. Their nurses are also doing a flu clinic at the Hillcrest Village on Tuesday, October 7th, from 11:30 to 1:30. So that was that. The Metacomet Public Health Alliance is also sponsoring they're holding a baby shower for residents of Franklin, Norfolk, and Rentham on September 8th from 2 to 4 at the Rentham Public Library. Currently, they are taking donations of toys, baby clothes, formula, diapers, wipes, mom toiletries. Donations are accepted through August 28th, and drop-off locations in Norfolk are the Norfolk Library, and the Norfolk Senior Center. So I think that was what I wanted to update you on the nurses.
Okay. Okay. Any age restrictions, or is there age considerations?
I think it's 8, isn't it usually, Matt, 18 and up on the flu clinics? I think it's 18 and up.
Yes. I'd have to check with the nurses. I think there's some state program relating to minors, so they generally won't do under 18. I'd have to double check with them though.
Yeah.
I think under special requests, they can probably get some doses for children.
Right.
Okay. I guess if there's any way that we could get those, if there's an age.
Yeah, they'll come out with their they'll actually flyer that we
Okay.
post, and that information will be on it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that will be, the flu clinic will be in September, or?
Yep, September 24th at the Norfolk Senior Center. And then we're also holding one at Hillcrest Village for those residents on October 7th.
It's funny, at the PCP offices, they don't usually open up the flu clinic until like October, but yes, that's a good idea.
We try to get it. We try to get it in early because they also do they do flu clinics in Norfolk. They do Rentham and Franklin as well.
Is there a vendor, is this being outsourced, or are the nurses doing it?
Nope, our nurses are doing it.
That's great.
Yeah, Matt helps. I actually help as
If you
well.
need any help from me.
Okay, I will let you know. Thank you.
Is this something we could promote at the farmer's market? Because, I mean, we have, this West Nile virus spraying, we have these flu clinics happening. I guarantee we could probably find a half dozen other things that are happening that we could promote that the residents just don't know about.
I'm sure. I don't know how the logistics work, but sure.
I mean, a sandwich board with information could probably get lost unless it's strategically placed, but that's, I mean, as you walk into the farmer's market, since you don't necessarily need to come in from
The farmer's market's tomorrow. When's the last day for this farmer's market,
I
actually?
think they go straight through to mid to late October.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
But I was thinking, Betsy, something along the lines of a table. We have a leaflet for each of these things. That's a handout. This is a place where government should be working on behalf of the people. It's a place where it is.
Maybe just to
We
spread
should
the
promote
word,
it.
yeah.
We should promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we've also talked about doing a public information session on Southwood and a public information session on Norwood Hospital.
Oh, Norwood Hospital's time sensitive,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to promote these events that we're doing to get some energy and
Absolutely.
drive traffic.
I'm going to look up Norfolk Farmers Market and see when they run through. Farmers Market.
Norwood, just to let you know,
June 5th
Norwood Day
through
is...
September 25th, that's what they say on their Facebook page.
Oh,
I'm not sure if that's a hard,
So we basically have a month.
yes.
Okay.
So if it's weekly, you have at least two weeks between now and the time it's done at the senior center on the 24th, and then, or 3 times, I should say. And then, for good measure, you could do the 25th for the October one at Hillcrest.
Sure, whatever you need, let me know.
Any way you could contact the senior center, see if they have a flyer, let them know that the Board of Health would like to find.
Yeah, the girls.
Yeah, see if they can expedite
Yeah,
that.
Janine will be putting together a flyer.
Okay.
You can work on that.
Okay. So I think you're volunteering to sit at a table possibly at the farmer's market. I don't know if you go.
I'm more than willing to. I mean,
I'm willing to go too, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's promoting public health and processes that our town has in place to support that. So by all means.
Okay.
I even have a table. They just gotta give us a spot.
I'm sure we can work on that.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let you work offline with Betsy.
Yep.
On that stuff, okay.
Consider it done.
Let John know what days you're available
Sure.
for, I mean, I know the farmer's market was canceled last week, but this week,
It's
on.
tomorrow, I believe, and
Yeah.
I think it's 3 to 6 or something.
3 to 7, yeah.
We can talk.
Yeah,
Yep, weather's looking good for tomorrow.
okay. Okay. Shall we move on? So let's go to the proposed regulations for tobacco restrictions in Norfolk. I've looked at this now probably almost 6 months worth. And I know with the 2 new members on the board, I don't know if you've had, I know, John, you had some questions, and I think Pari responded to that.
I actually I put a copy of that in your packet, so wasn't sure if you had an opportunity to.
I mean,
That over?
from, my comments to Betsy were simply that we should, try to engage the vendors if they have a new product coming in, just so there's not, I would say, a situation where they bring a new product in and then all of a sudden it falls under any restrictions that may go into effect. And you try to sort of head off the problems before they happen. I think that's a little being proactive, but at the same time, I think we have to put something in there that if we do go that route, that the vendor notifies the Board of Health that they are selling a new product, and it simply is then reviewed either by Pari or, they make an appointment with the Board of Health, and we can review the product then. But obviously, you don't want them bringing all this material in and this stuff to sell that all of a sudden then has to go back to the vendor, or they may be eating the cost. I don't know how that really works, but I think it's being a little proactive, but also it puts some onus on the vendor for compliance. And if they choose not to notify the Board of Health, there's a warning, and then for the first strike, I guess, and then see what happens the second time around. But at the same time, I think this is the type of regulation that could and should be a little proactive and two-way during the introduction of new products into the retail sector. So, but do the other members have any questions at all on the regulations? Like I said, I've looked at this several times over the past 6 months, and I know some of the previous discussions with the old board, and Pari did make some updates and some changes, some clarification. And I think the simple fact that this is fairly consistent with the surrounding towns kind of makes this a little easier for everyone. So if you have a vendor that's selling in town and they happen to have another store somewhere in a surrounding town that has the same regulations, at least we're consistent, and we can, I think, deal with the ups and downs and bumps in the roads that may come up hopefully a little bit easier. So, or they may be non-existent.
So, Andy, in relation to what you were just talking about notifying the Board of Health, on page 5, there is a note that says a manufacturer's documentation is not conclusive evidence that a product is unflavored. A Board of Health may conduct a smell taste test to determine if manufacturer's documentation misrepresents whether a product is flavored.
Yep. I think one of the correspondence we got previously from, was it back in February, back in March? I'm trying to remember when that was, but it clearly, the documentation said that it met the regulation intent, but it clearly said it was flavored. So it's just, to this day, I'm still kind of scratching my head as to how that meets. Then I think there might have just been a little bit of wordsmithing that may have have gone on with that particular case. But again, I agree that providing the written documentation, but at the same time, if they send this in and then don't tell us that, they're other than, is that should come with a notice, and then that gives us the opportunity to check and to test, or to, do the sniff test like we did with the other materials that we had. Yeah. Again, this may be the rendition, the revisions that may come across with this to tweak it a little bit, maybe more in the future. So. Again, I know we're getting to a little bit, we're not getting into uncharted territory for the state, but we're getting, it's uncharted territory for the town, and I understand that. So, for the board members, basically giving an okay and voting to move this forward, what we would do then is actually there would have to be a public hearing specifically for that regulation, and comment period, and whether we do 30, 60, 90 days.
Right. What we could do is, if you wanted to schedule the public hearing, if everyone's satisfied with this, schedule the public hearing for September, October. This gets sent out to all the tobacco retailers for comment.
Okay. And then the general...
And to notify them of the hearing in case they wanted to attend.
Okay. And then the general public also has the opportunity to comment.
Yep, it would get posted on the town website, notice goes in the paper.
So, I don't know what the other board members are thinking. If you need more time to digest this, that's fine too. But again, this has been kicking around for a good 6 months.
Oh, yeah, at least.
So.
I believe, Andy, we've had a couple months to read this, and, I posed some questions that have been responded to, so if the next step is moving to a public hearing, it would be appropriate to make the motion to move forward with the public hearing at this point in time. Okay.
Betsy, just for proper etiquette and proper, we're simply saying, we are not accepting these regulations as they are written, but we're simply moving forward to the public hearing.
Exactly.
I just want to be clear about that, because there's again some of the syntax and some of the language that's in here might be misconstrued if you look at it slightly different, and that's one thing I want to make sure that we may have to do some more scrubbing.
You should be satisfied enough with this to put this out there for public comment. It's and then you can decide at the public hearing if there are any other edits, we can do that then.
Okay. And then incorporation of comments, if someone has comments from the general public or the vendors have comments. So, okay. So if we're good, anybody care to make a motion to move this to the public hearing stage? And we'll get that scheduled. Maybe we can discuss that towards the end of, or at the end of the meeting, or...
Sure.
Or
you want to schedule it for our September meeting, which is...
Well, I'm a little bit on the fence. Should we have a separate hearing for this, or should we simply, incorporate it to the public hearing?
Probably just incorporate it into our regular meeting.
Okay. I'm looking at, if we do in September, I know school just started, and then...
We can do it in October. We can certainly schedule it for October too. That gives me a little time to, that would be October 28th.
Okay.
Would be the fourth Tuesday.
Okay.
Gives me time to advertise, get it, get it sent out, collect any comments.
Yeah, I would like to be able to say we've put out a public notice at least 30 days beforehand.
Yeah.
And I think that if that works, I think the only thing I'd be worried about is if there's any other public hearings, if we can work around those, because town meeting is
Town meeting is on November 12th.
And and I both know that there's always a flurry rush of public hearings for certain zoning articles that come in, and people tend to get overwhelmed, and they pick and choose as to who could come or where they're going to go. So if we could try and work around that and make sure that there's, I don't know if you can talk to Rich to see, when he's thinking of having some of the public hearings for some of the zoning.
So we would have our zoning, we would have it at our October 14th planning board meeting.
Okay.
At the moment, there's only 3 proposed
Okay.
zoning amendments.
Okay. So it's not a huge, it's not that could, that's not going to get carried over to another meeting that could get scheduled the following week. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay.
Nope, I think we would be safe if we said October 28th.
Okay. Good. Let's do that.
So I'll make a motion that we schedule the public hearings for the 28th of October.
Okay. I should formalize
For the regulation of the Norfolk Board of Health restricting the sale of tobacco products.
Perfect.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
And I second that motion.
Okay. If any comments from 2 of the folks on Zoom, or are you just listening? Okay.
Andrew Parker said no comments, and Josh Pruitt said just listening.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So, since there's no further discussion, no additional comments. Our 2 in-person people, any questions, comments?
No.
Okay, thank you. So, if there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
That's it. Let me know if you need some help pulling some of this stuff together, because I'm officially done with work on the 15th.
Lucky you.
So you might see me more, maybe you won't see me more, but. So.
You know where to find me.
Okay, you bet I do. So, okay, moving on. I know we have 4 more topics here. Let's do Southwood Hospital quick. We'll set the meeting dates. We'll talk about Norwood Hospital last, because I think that may take a little bit of time, and we'll move up any unanticipated new business that may come before the board, just to kind of clear the slate, and we can sort of ramble on with Norwood Hospital. So 111 Dedham Street, Southwood Hospital. I don't know if anyone saw the state of the town message from the select board.
Did not.
There's some questionable information that was presented in there saying that cleanup has started at Southwood Hospital. It has not started at the hospital. As simple as I can put it, that in order for them to be starting at the hospital, this board would have to been notified, and there would have been submission of what's called a Phase 3 remedial action plan, and they haven't even finished the Phase 2 comprehensive site assessment, and that has been further delayed from December of this year to sometime next year, which puts it 2 years behind schedule. And yes, there are things that can happen that do not fall under the mass contingency plan for that property, but at the same time, there's the environmental aspect of it. They may run into something that all of a sudden sort of changes their direction that would require remedial responses that fall under the mass contingency plan. For example, if they take a building down and they find oil as they're pulling the slab up, the building can come down. There's no asbestos, there's no lead paint issues. It can come down, but once they start pulling concrete up, and I know the ambulance garage has oil underneath it because I've seen it, and that was 30 years ago. So there's other things with that property as well that still have to be assessed. And based on an email I received from the Public Involvement Plan Group, They did contact the EPA and did talk to the project manager, and the project manager said that they did have some new findings, but was not at liberty to provide those yet because it hasn't been discussed with the developer. So what that means, I have no idea. Is it good, bad, or indifferent? I don't know, but we'll see.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Time will tell. So if you get a chance, take a look at that video, and
Will do.
you can hear how the town is doing. But again, the Southwood stuff needs to be a little bit fixed.
This was Anita's video?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you think she was just misunderstanding, quite understanding what
Well,
is taking place there?
I sent an email to the town administrator and to Anita, because she is the liaison for the public involvement plan projects, which is basically Buckley and Mann and Southwood, and Kevin Roach, who is the liaison for the Board of Health. And I kind of explained to him what the board was thinking about doing this presentation, and it's simply just to provide, it's a reality check. It's, it's sort of where we are. I mean, the mass contingency plan is complex enough to get a lot of people confused, and people will say, well, what about this and what about this? And realize that the 1,400 pages that are the regulation are supplemented by several hundred white papers, guidance documents, policies that are rarely ever mentioned in the regulation, but they are if they're policy, it has to be followed, because that's the way the DEP has done it. And they've crafted the language of those policies such that it can work outside the mass contingency plan. At the same time, you still have to work that policy into the process, the process. So it's a little bit, let's just say, it's not an easy lift to understand some of this stuff. So just leaving it at that, the fact that they haven't done the comprehensive site assessment, and essentially that has to be submitted to DEP. There is a technical review that is done at some point. There's an administrative review that's done as soon as the report comes in. DEP takes the report. They run through the table of contents. They have a checklist. They check off all the topics. If there's topics that are missing, they contact the LSP of record asking, what are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with that? And they say, oh, that's in this section here. And sometimes, sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. But the bottom line is that the step process of getting the completed comprehensive site assessment has to be done before you can start remediation. But again, like I said, there are things that can happen. The buildings could start coming down, but they still, they are where they are. They could start tearing out asphalt in anticipation of digging in areas. But then again, do you really want to do that? Because if the asphalt is preventing rainfall from getting in there and pushing the petroleum around that's sitting in the ground there, does it make sense really to do that? Probably not. Maybe that's the way they're thinking of the buildings too. But then again, I've seen the pictures, and
It's a safety concern.
Well, the safety concern is, and with the drone flights I've done over the buildings, there's the elevator shaft doors on the roof and the access hatches to the roof are wide open, which means people have gotten up there. And the fact there's graffiti up there too, if they've spent enough time up there. Yeah.
Any speculation why they haven't
Don't know.
taken down any of these unsafe buildings?
I have no idea. The LSP of record, who used to be the LSP of record, I worked with him 30 years ago, and I've got a good relationship with him, and I've asked him, and I've given him a full data dump of everything I've known.
Sure.
So he's again.
He's working for
GFI now.
GFI.
Correct? Yeah.
So he's only doing what he's being told to do.
Yeah. The consultant is supposed to advocate for the client. It gets into that gray area if you are presenting information that could be either incomplete or may not be fully vetted. That's always an issue. The town got into this situation, and I'm sorry, Caritas got into this situation with Wadley Environmental, because when Wadley Environmental was doing work this was back in the late 80s through the mid 90s, and when I was on the Concom, they identify these areas where the wells still have feet of petroleum in them. And what they did is when they filed in 2002 what's called a response action outcome and closure report for the site. What they did, and this is unfortunately part of the problem with the regulations, is they put monitoring wells and did soil borings well out far enough away where you're not going to come up with anything, and they came up with non-detect. Oh, we can close it. What you're supposed to do under the regulations is you're supposed to identify all the wells, and then you have what's called a hotspot analysis that has to be done, and that wasn't done. That wasn't done. And then the subsequent consultants that were brought in, Sanborn Head and then IT Group, those two companies, and I knew a couple people that work there, and there was a woman that I met out there when they ran into the problem with the ambulance garage, when they were digging the foundation for that. She was just shaking her head because, they're being told to do one thing. It's like, you got to figure it out. Do you walk away or do you keep working and beating your head against the wall? And, they didn't want to spend money. And
A lot of years of issues, and it's going to take a while to work through it.
I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to say the good thing about the petroleum that's there is number 6 fuel oil and some of the heavier petroleum compounds that were used in the power plant. They don't move very fast.
Is it easy to clean up?
You dig it out. You have to dig it out. Yeah, you can't. There's technologies out there now where they inject steam into the ground and it loosens it up. You suck everything out you can, but you still have to go in there and you still have residuals. There's certain materials that will not be removed by doing steam injection.
Yeah.
But again, I've had projects in the past. I've worked on projects in the past. I've seen case studies where you have number 6 fuel oil at refineries, and they go in and basically Swiss cheese the property and then put injection points in for steam, and they put an evacuation well right next to it, and they're pulling out everything you can imagine.
Wow.
So. But yeah, the technology's there.
Yeah.
In the case of this, because they have to tear the buildings down, it just seems that excavation is probably the quickest way to get a bulk of the material, bulk the stuff out. There's going to be some stuff that's migrated off-site. That's a given. It's a given. It's not. It doesn't. It moves slowly, but who knows? Who knows? That plant, I believe, changed over to from coal to number 6 fuel oil in the 1950s.
When was that?
1917 was when they...
When it was initially built?
It was 1917.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Across the street, there's a pump house that has a cornerstone that says 1926 on it. And coincidentally, it was the same engineer that designed that one as the prison, which was put in 1926, because the prison had what they call a well point system, and it was the same technology. They very well could have been put in at the same time, but it was the same engineer.
Maybe they got a BOGO deal.
Well, at that time it was state. Yeah, in 1926 it was state owned. Yeah, that property was state owned. Yeah, it was state owned. So yeah.
Andy, has the town ever informed the owner of the property of the town's concerns?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The Public Involvement Plan Group has been very, very, very active in asking questions. And, to give you an idea, what's frustrating, though, is that the discovery of the radium-226 in the filter beds for the wastewater treatment plant has been sort of poo-pooed. They did find, this is now 2 winters ago, they dug holes in the landfill or the dump area, and they found a watch that was emitting radioactivity, and it was a radium watch. What they did is they put it back in a plastic bag, and then...
Like a wristwatch?
A pocket watch.
Oh,
pocket watch, yeah. But they took pictures of it.
How would it be emitting radium?
The dials, yeah. The paint. You need to watch that movie called Radium Girls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
We probably still haven't watched that radium on our house.
Oh, interesting. Okay. This is like a history lesson right here.
Radium makes it glow in the dark.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So is there anything we as a town could do to force them to take action?
Well, no, because, I mean, the only thing we can do is you start basically hounding DEP. I've talked with this woman, Rebecca, let's see, probably, honestly, I've lost track. It hasn't been a ton, but I'd say it's probably been more than 3 times, could be 5 or 6 times. And, just asking her about things. And it's been probably a year since she stopped answering my calls about asking how the radiation is being rolled into the mass contingency plan. Normally, radiation waste like this is actually handled by the Department of Public Health, and they have their own standards, they have their own everything. The Massachusetts contingency plan does have radiation standards for groundwater. So if you're drinking it, but they don't have for soil. And as far as we can tell, this is all in the soil.
So it sounds like she doesn't know, so she's not answering your call.
No, she was very definitive when they made the decision that the DEP would be handling the project as a whole, including the radiation. So, but again, the simple questions to her are asking, what standards are you using? Are you using DPH standards, or are you setting your own? And realize that the mass contingency plan has been in effect, 30 years or so, and there's been a bunch of rewrites over time. They've added some new chemicals, like PFAS is amongst one, but some of these exotic synthetic compounds that no one ever even heard of 20 years ago are now they're coming up in agricultural areas that are part of the degradation compounds or fertilizers and pesticides, and they've got to figure out how to get rid of that stuff, or what's the standard. So the DEP, they've done a very good job there's 1,800 chemicals that they regulate. There's probably, when they first started, there's probably about 1,200. They've done a very good job of identifying risk-based standards, and it's simply based on if you're exposed to this amount of chemical for this amount of time, and you're an adult, you're a child, you're 150 pounds, 180 pounds, they figure out what your cancer risk is, and that's essentially how it works. So if you're above, and every single one has a cancer risk associated with it, and if that's a problem, I'll use benzene as an example because that's a known carcinogen. 5 parts per billion in groundwater. They figure if you're drinking that for 20 years, you probably will come down with 3 or 4 different types of cancer. So, they know. And 5 parts per billion really is not much. So, but anyways, so that's kind of where we are. So, John, I could talk about this forever. So.
All right.
We'll stop. So at this point, I think we can, what we'll do is, if you want, I can start moving ahead and start looking at
I'm looking at the abatement of it, just to, I'm looking at the abatement applications for radiation exposure. They're saying that they now have an online website, the only tool starting on January 1st, 2026. So they're a little late getting to this, but yeah.
Yeah,
Surprised that this has been going on this long. Yeah.
Well, the radiation was a whistleblower. I'm going to say, to this day, I honestly don't know who it was, but I think one of the neighbors over there must have had some sort of access to a high-tech Geiger counter, and he went over there and he...
But it's not surprising, though, that there would be...
It's not, but the thing is that DDES, who's the consultant for GFI, who's the radiation expert, has dismissed understanding that, yes, it is in the filter beds. It's like, well, if you're irradiated as cancer treatment, it's going to be in your body and you're going to pee it out.
Right.
That's the bottom line.
So that's...
And just so you know, what I told Anita and Mike and Kevin, that the simple fact that I offered for the guys at GFI and EnviroTrack to go down to the wastewater plant for the prison in 1920, that was built in the 1920s, and said, you can look at the old technology that's still working. and you can understand how that plant works. And my concern at that time, this is before the radiation was found, I said, this is more a case of what does the underground structure, what does the leaching gallery look like? How do you know that if oil does get into the pipeline, where does it go? How does it get? And that was my original intent. Now it's sort of evolved into the fact that they've got to have some sort of understanding of the pathway of how this radiation got there. Well, yeah, it's easy. Someone pees, they pee into a bucket, gets dumped into a toilet goes through the wastewater plant, and then it gets discharged out. And the standard technology that they're using will not remove radiation. It's not being filtered. All it is basically what they call aeration and clarification, and that's it.
How do you remove it? Does it have to be dug out?
The filter, well, yeah, they're going to have the stuff that's in the ground, they'll have to dig out.
Yeah.
But again, radon, the radium-226 is the same radon you have in your house. And, I mean, the half-life is 1,600 years. It's just not, it's not going to, it's just
Wow.
not, it's not
Yeah.
going to, it's certainly not going to go away. Does it move? I mean, the radon you get in your basement is basically a gas, and that everybody knows that it decays fairly quickly in sunlight, but at the same time, that constant exposure of even low levels, they say, you're more susceptible to lung cancer. So.
Okay, sorry I asked.
No, it's okay. Sorry. So with that, let's move on.
Hospital.
Well, let's do the meeting schedule. So I think we already talked. The next meeting will be
September 23rd.
Yep.
And then we've got our public hearing on the October 28th.
Yep.
We can talk about this next meeting,
Yeah.
but November 25th is Thanksgiving week. I am most likely away.
Okay.
So, anyway.
We can move it up.
Sure, we can see what is coming down the pipeline. And then we might, I'm not sure, the 23rd of December?
Probably makes sense to move that.
I know, nobody's gonna really wanna
Yeah.
It's holiday.
have a meeting. Anyway, we'll discuss.
I'd be inclined to is see if we can move the November meeting up a week or so to make sure that we can get all the comments within 30 days after the meeting and go from there. But yeah, we can talk about that more next.
We'll talk about this in September, and
Yep.
we'll set that meeting schedule.
Okay, sounds like a plan. No new business?
Other than that, I think we talked about getting out in front of the farmer's market with some of the stuff we have going on.
Okay.
I don't have anything else.
Okay.
I don't have, I mean, the farmer's market and, support for Norwood Hospital is
Yeah.
probably another thing that I want to talk about.
Okay, well, let's jump in on Norwood Hospital then. John, I'll turn the floor over to you because I think you have more information on this. And Donna, we're going to drag you up to a front seat here to sort of fill us in a little bit more than on what you know, unless.
No hiding in the back for that one.
So.
No, I gave Senator Rush's office a phone call. And, made a request for someone from the committee to come down here to Norfolk to talk about the issue and where public involvement and public engagement was required. I need to follow up with them because message was left. This is what we're looking for, and a call was not returned. So I have a couple other names that I need to follow up with, but it's from my perspective, it's a work in progress as of this evening.
Okay. The wheels of government turn
Slowly.
backwards sometimes too.
Yeah. No, it's disappointing, but
Okay. Donna, do you want to I know you sent me that email. I forwarded that to Betsy, and Betsy sent it on to other people. Do you want to sort of run down everything that you know? That it's easier than me having to regurgitate what you wrote, so.
Donna Jones, North Street. This meeting is being recorded by Norfolk Community Television. Public access television is in most towns in Massachusetts, including Norwood, where I first saw their town general administrator say that the governor has put him in charge of a Bring Back Norwood Hospital committee. So this has been going on for several months. There's Facebook pages, there's websites. I happened to watch Foxborough Selectmen's meeting where two gentlemen from Norwood, came to the Foxborough Selectmen and said, we're having a rally on Saturday, September 6th at 11 a.m. to bring back Norwood Hospital. And they explained the three major steps that are needed to bring back the hospital. And so they were indicating that all, like 16 towns that normally go to that hospital should come to this rally. Didn't go to the senior center on Thursday. On Friday, I went there, and they had put up a sign in the door saying, there's a rally in Norwood on September 6th, and while I was there, would you like to sign this letter to bring back Norwood Hospital? It had a return envelope that was addressed to the state, and the return address was to the Norwood town manager. So the next time I was in there, I said, do you know who brought these? And a senior center worker said, I think it was the Norwood senior center worker that was advocating for this.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, John, I wasn't sure if that was you. You're covering more territory than I expected. Okay, so it wasn't John, so, okay, well, you answered that question then. Okay.
Somewhere I got this Bring Back Norwood Hospital button, and the town clerk has a few.
Yeah, these are courtesy of John, so. Yeah.
But apparently these people from Norwood are available to come out and tell towns, or I could send you the link to the Foxborough.
Yeah, I mean,
segment.
Donna, if you have contact information of someone who is willing to come down, I think there's value in us having a public session.
Exactly, that would be great. I mean, they come face-to-face to the people that are facing this every day, and then as a neighboring community, we'll be able to have a more inside, look at how it's really going to trickle down and impact us over here, so.
I mean, from my front door, it's roughly 27 minutes to Milford and 27 minutes to Needham. That's a long drive. If you're dealing with someone at 2 o'clock in the morning, you need to get to the emergency room.
Yeah.
So if you have, I would welcome the opportunity to pick up, talk to someone who's willing to come down. Maybe this is something we also consider marketing at the farmer's market.
Yeah. Yes.
And say, hey, this is public health at its best, and folks having access to an emergency room is critical. So whatever you have for contact information, please. I'm more than willing to pick up the phone and make a phone call.
If you got his email, you can contact him directly.
Direct. Okay.
And copy Betsy on it, and then just leave myself and Josie out of it. We can, we'll find out about it, but trying to avoid the conflict of interest and public meeting laws and all that type of stuff. So I guess the question I have for you, and maybe my understanding is the building is fully weather tight. It's the exterior finish is done. There's obviously landscaping and parking that has to be done too. But what's the condition inside the structure? Do you know?
What I've heard these other people say is like they haven't done the first floor, put the flooring in because you don't know what piping you're going to have underneath it.
Yeah.
And it's not set up for like floors of radiation will be here, or beds will be here.
Okay.
Somebody has to own it and decide that.
Okay, so you're probably still talking a year and a half to 2 years for getting it back open then, I guess, still, even if a decision was made yesterday.
You're talking about getting it, I mean, is it going to reopen?
It's owned by a real estate company right now.
There's so many rumors flying around.
Forgotten the phrase that there needs to be a request for need to the state to justify a hospital, and Stewart had that, and they left, so it expired, and so somebody else needs to apply for it.
Okay.
I don't know how we can have a hospital, then all of a sudden we don't have one, and now we don't need it anymore,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many rumors going around from this is going to be slated to a realtor developer, they're in talks now, to there's a portion of the land that's not owned, that's privately owned. You're from Norwood too, right?
Norfolk.
Okay, yeah, so I'm hearing lots of things about it, and I just hope, we're all hoping for a positive outcome. It's just not sustainable the way things are. My husband almost lost his finger on a snow blowing accident, and Norwood Hospital, again, wasn't open, and I had to do that long trek over to Beth Israel Needham. I also went into, I went to labor with my daughter, almost had her at home. So yeah, they have to do something. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Donna.
You're welcome.
Donna, thank you.
Donna.
Yeah, 42,705 visits in 2019. It's a significant number.
Yeah. Well, there must have been a COVID effect, though.
Well, that was 2019. That was pre-COVID.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that's right. That's right. So,
That's just this community here, or?
No, I mean, that was the total number of visits to the
Norwood Hospital.
emergency, to the,
The ER.
We can even count the visits to other hospitals while Norwood Hospital is closed. And these could have virtually have gone over there, so.
no, I mean, it has to be straining Needham, it has to be straining Milford.
Oh, it is training. I'm hearing from the nurses in Needham. Yeah, they're about, yeah.
I know, I know that this probably isn't necessarily a positive thing, but I know the expansion at Sturdy in Attleboro, which is still ongoing. I mean, I'm not sure if that is something that's going to have to be looked at. I know Patriot Place, the expansion of the medical facilities there, even though that sort of seems to be more concierge type healthcare, which whether that gets brought into the formula, I know the movement or the inclusion of Dana-Farber out in Milford has been, that's another part. I know. I think there's a lot of other things in there that we might need to do a little bit of investigation on to see really what the impact is to the expected traffic or the needs analysis to reopen Norwood Hospital. Because if they say, well, all those 42,000 visits, if it's that, or even if it's 50,000 visits, can be handled by the other hospitals in the area, and due to expansion, whatever, I'm not playing devil's advocate, but I think that may come up somewhere in the discussion.
Yep. No, I mean, it's a valid point. Certainly looking at the number of urgent care facilities that have opened up post-2019, there'd be value in looking in that as well.
So,
They're not going to finish it unless they have an operator. So they really need to get somebody in there to operate that.
Okay. Any comments? No. Just listening?
I had 3 surgeries there, so I'm in favor of anything they would do. And we went to Milford when she had so we never go back there. Yeah, it would be good to have Norwood Hospital back.
I can honestly say I've been there once. That's it, and it was for my wife, not me. But we've been here 30 plus years, so.
My mom was actually in the hospital the night it was evacuated.
Wow.
Scary.
I also, MCI also, would go to Norwood Hospital. So there was a period of time when I did my rotation at MCI, and
Yeah, now they go over to Milford.
I don't even know how that's, doable.
It's a lot of overtime.
That's for sure.
It's a lot of overtime.
You know it,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
John, I'll let you run with what you need to run with.
Yeah, I'm going to exchange contact information with Donna, and we'll be positioned to talk about this in September.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll work on the farmer's market and getting some stuff together.
Did we discuss possibly mentioning Norwood Hospital at maybe we can come up with something at the farmer's market?
No,
whatever?
absolutely.
It's time sensitive. I just looked it up. Their Norwood Day is the 6th of this month. Of September.
Yeah, it's next 2
And that's when they're planning. I'm thinking if we can somehow coordinate with them or make people more aware, increase awareness before September 6th.
Yeah, I think what we can do is we can push getting some stuff out on social media between
Yeah.
now and the 6th.
Did you hear anything back at all from the governor's office or anything like that? Nothing?
Betsy, you can post something on the town's page, right?
On the home, I cannot.
Okay, can you find out? Because I'm thinking, John, whatever you do, we put on social media.
I can have it posted, yes.
Who would be responsible for that, do you know?
RIT would post it. I
Okay.
could send it, whatever it is.
Yeah, Betsy, I'll follow up with you tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so used to when you do stuff like that, and you can just, everybody gets a consensus, you have the final document, and then you're sort of stonewalled because you can't put it on the town's website. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm missing something, but I thought a long time ago that the town allowed each board committee administrator to have access to post.
I have access to our page,
Yeah.
not to the town homepage.
Well, I would like to put on the town homepage because that's the first thing you come up with, you know, when you do,
Yeah,
if you're looking for the board.
I do not have,
Yeah.
we have a new website. I do not have the ability to post.
Okay. Well, nice pictures, though. So, anyways, okay. Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, we've covered things that are, that are appropriate for the season, like the flu shots, and, we're going to increase awareness there, and also some, the West Nile virus. I feel like we touched a lot of points, and also an update on the nurses that are, with the Alliance that are doing what they're doing best, keeping everybody healthy.
Okay.
If there was some way just to invite people who participate here and actually attend these meetings, or somehow other people that don't make it to these meetings virtual or otherwise, if we could somehow maybe invite more input and feedback, that would be helpful too.
Don, I need to ask you a question. Have you been in the selectmen's meetings and commented? Or brought any of this up to them on Norwood Hospital?
No.
No.
They just found it.
They have a meeting, the select board actually are meeting on the 15th.
Which is after the rally.
Yeah, but that may be a good time because say, look, there were 20,000 people there, and
A good thing to bring up during the public comment period.
yeah. I mean, my feeling is that you've heard nothing from them expressing anything, whether it's through Mike or through the town
When is
administrator.
the rally again?
Okay.
A week
The
from the
6th.
Saturday.
September 6th
It is,
at
okay.
11 a.m. on the Norwood Town Common.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to sort of run through these scenarios in my head, and it's like, a board can simply state their opinion, but I think if there's some weight that's carried either by a town administrator or, someone higher up in the food chain, or top of the pyramid, I mean, that would be the best. And if that hasn't happened, maybe we should give somebody a poke.
The email I sent to you had the link to the Foxborough video,
Yeah.
and then it had a link to the newspaper article, which
Yep.
was from July,
Yeah.
that said, we're bringing in the media. We want to show
Yeah.
the support for the project.
And Betsy, if I remember correctly, you did send it to Anita, right? The original email from Donna that I sent to you to forward on to the appropriate people.
No, I don't think so. I think I just sent it to the Board of Health members.
You sent it to, Matt, did we send it to, did you get copied on that? Oh, he's sleeping. No, he's watching the Red Sox game.
No, I'm still here.
Okay,
I didn't see it, so I'm going to say no.
okay. Okay,
I do have Betsy Whitney sent me an email.
I'd say unless it came through, I was away for 3 and a half days, and at some point my mailbox ended up being full. So unless it came through in that little period where my mailbox is full, that's the only thing I can think of, but I didn't see anything otherwise.
Okay, when I get home, I'll check the town email, and I'll check Betsy's thing, and maybe I'll just poke the bear a bit. The higher ups in the town that are copied on that, I'll see if they have any opinion, and maybe let them know we're going to try and do some public activism.
Is there value in asking for time on a future select board agenda?
Yeah, I mean, you can.
I mean, the worst they're going to say is no.
Or, no, there's no.
Or you
there's-
get your 3 minutes of fame at the public comment period.
Yeah, but they don't, I mean, you speak and they can't respond. I would prefer to have the opportunity to engage in conversation with them and force the topic of something being done by our select board.
Well, John, not to drag up bad memories, but back in March, I got time after harassing Justin a bunch of times to make a presentation on the PV array on the Freeman School, because that array is a mess and it's down. And long story short, I ran numbers where we could get that whole system replaced for under $130,000. And it's worth it because all the panels are damaged and the inverter's dead. And I put a 7-slide presentation together. The first one, as soon as I sat down in that chair there, the first comment from the chair at that time said, "You better make this quick." So at that point there, I'm thinking, it's like, gee, I forgot some stuff, so let's just take our time. So, yeah, no, I went as quick as I could. And I,
That makes you feel valuable, doesn't it?
But so, I mean, honestly, I took a different tact as soon as that came out, and I said, look, you have about 3 weeks to make a decision on this, because we had received $100,000 from the Green Communities Division to repair it, but we were going to be short about 30 grand, which is about the labor. And long story short, I sit on the Energy Committee as well in town, so that's why I'm relaying this, and this has nothing to do with the Board of Health. But the bottom line is, heard nothing from them. So
you found an estimate to replace it for that amount or to repair it?
yeah, I mean, what I did, I mean, there are vendors that I've purchased stuff for the systems. I have a system here in my house in Norfolk, and then we have a cabin up north, and we put stuff on, and I put both of them on myself.
That's very good. That's a replacement estimate.
It's a replacement estimate,
Wow.
but the thing is that the two things that I tried pushing was that we can take those panels off and someone will buy them for scrap. And nothing was done, bottom line. So now the fact that you now have no incentives with the current administration in Washington, you have the tariffs preventing stock from coming into the U.S. You know, the budget that I had of $92,000 to replace all the physical equipment, not the labor, is now pushing like 140 grand. So it's that quick. It's been that quick. So I know we're off topic.
So speaking of off topic, I'm just going to backtrack to Southwood. Betsy Whitney had tried to, I think she had tried to raise her hand. Either I didn't see it or she's gone now. But she sent me an email. So she was trying to make a comment. So if it's okay, I'm going to just read her comment into the record. So this is Betsy Whitney from Valley Street. This is regarding the Southwood discussion. Her comment would have been, I own and have read a couple of times The Radium Girls by Kate Moore, published in 2020. It is by far one of the best books I have ever read. It is in paperback, and Barnes & Noble would be a good source. I'd recommend it to everyone.
Yeah. No, it's a good movie. I grew up in Connecticut, and in Thomaston, Connecticut, there was the Thomaston Clock Company, and they used to do paint radium. And my sister, who's 9 years older than me, work there. But she was only doing packaging, but she, there's people that she kind of kept in touch with even after she graduated from high school. Yeah, and, that's what they used to do. So.
Okay, so I read Betsy's comment into the record.
Yeah, no, it's kind of funny that, it's I call that the Aaron Brockovich moment, that the movie with what the chromium-6 does to you. So, anyways. Okay, I know we're kind of rambling, we're off topic, but
Okay.
It's all relevant stuff.
I'll make a motion to adjourn if that's okay, unless there's any questions or.
Any questions?
I'm a little out of. I'll have to admit, I'm a little out of sorts here because we rarely have people just coming in just to listen.
We've gone to some other town meetings, so we understand when it comes to this.
Yeah, can I just ask your names just for our records?
Jeffrey Thumb, Thumm.
Cheryl Thumb.
Joe?
Cheryl.
Cheryl?
Cheryl, yep.
Cheryl.
Thank you.
Cheryl.
Thumm?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No, we're just interested. And the town is obviously needs some help in a lot of ways. And we could help, but we got to figure out how.
Okay.
Well, we appreciate you coming.
Yes.
I mean,
Thank you.
like I said, I've been in town 33 years and have been on boards for 27 of those. And at one point was on, well, currently now I'm on two boards. And when the Freeman was built, I sat on that building committee as well, which was very enlightening. That's not meant to be positive connotations. So that's something, I mean, people just don't, I know people get up in town meeting and they complain, and I mean, I've gotten up and said stupid stuff too, but, I mean, it's sort of based on reality, and, you listen to some of the stuff that's said, it's like, it doesn't work that way, I mean, the reality is, I mean, I know there's everything from the fire station, stuff that the Energy Committee has gotten involved with on that, and that's been, they're...
Well, we've been here 41 years, but we've been involved in a lot of other things besides town politics, so, and not particularly interested in politics either. But we don't view what you do here as politics.
Yeah.
This is very prescriptive, for lack of a better word. There's probably a better word for it. But, I mean, the biggest, honestly, this whole thing with the tobacco products, that's probably one of the more controversial things. I mean, this is my second tour on this board. But, it's going to happen, and, we had two gentlemen that were working. They've been here the past couple months listening in. And some of the emails that Betsy has gotten that she's forwarded to us, there was a gentleman 2 months ago that sent something to Betsy, and I looked at it, and he referenced some meeting minutes for a town out in Western Mass, and I looked up those meeting minutes. They don't say anything what he said. So it's like, the question is, okay, is this disinformation, or is this intentional, or is this simply, maybe it was another meeting that wasn't posted yet? But then again, when you look at the agenda, which usually, have to, those are posted well before the meeting minutes, you'd think that they would have a discussion on it, and there was nothing the meeting before and the meeting after that one.
Yeah. So I would say we're probably not too interested in controlling tobacco products, but much more interested in healthcare and the availability of healthcare, and recognizing that the front end of healthcare is broken.
Yeah.
So the hospital issue and the potential for what we might do next is really more important than, whether the kids get nicotine pouches or not, which is what the current craze is.
Yeah, I mean, this is a place where we need to make some noise as a town. It's a place where we as a region need to make some noise.
Yeah.
Where we need to get the attention of those who sit in power up on Beacon Hill.
So, yeah, I see Norfolk as extremely fragmented. So that's more of a marketing term in a sense, but it is both physically and then socially, financially very fragmented. And so there's a lot of special interests, and there doesn't seem to be a good focus. You know, you talk about going to the select board and them not understanding that repairing something, putting some money in. I have no idea why that happens. I have no idea right now what the intermediaries might have been and why there wasn't action in something like that. So that's something we need to find out and obviously fix.
Betsy, are we off camera? I mean, it doesn't really matter, but we're just,
Meeting's
No,
still
we're-
going.
we're still
until you
on.
adjourn.
Yeah, didn't adjourn yet.
okay. We can chat after this. I'll give you some more stuff to get really annoyed about. But what I would say, if you want to talk with John, I'm quite sure, John, you could use plenty of volunteers, and knowing since you live up the street from me, on the corner
Yep.
of Naugatuck.
Yep.
I finally figured out, because I realized when you got up and walking, because when I've seen you working in the garden, when I've driven by, it's like, I know that walk from somewhere. So,
It was better today. Tendonitis is much better today.
yeah. So, I mean, that neighborhood is starting to turn over again. I mean,
Yep.
when we were there, I think pretty much everybody between you and the end of the cul-de-sac has turned over.
Yeah.
So, except the fairs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we have neighbors, one neighbor that's been there for a long time, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Anyway.
Things change, huh?
okay.
Want to adjourn and
Yeah, let's adjourn. Okay.
do it.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, cool.
awesome. Have a good night.